one of the first things I want to talk to you about is camps this summer. Do you want to each pay for your own students to go to camps, or do you want the kids to try to have a fundraiser to get money to get there? Huh?
I just didn't pay for it sometimes. I mean, depends. Half the time I think this fundraisers, I get fruit that spoils, and if I just give them $20 ahead of time, we just saved a fruit tree.
And that's fine. I don't care. I asked the kids, and they didn't know either.
How expensive are they? That's what I was thinking. You gotta look at expense.
There's two camps that I want to go to. One is here, and I think that costs.
No, it was reasonable.
Yeah, it's like $50 or $75, and then I want to go to one teen camp. Those are two things that I'm going to require them to go to, whatever teen camp that I decide I want to go to. If you want to go to a different individual camp, that's going to be up to you. I think one of the things I kind of noticed when I watched the games last year, we had a lot of individuals and not a lot of teamwork. And I think if we do the same camps all the time, that just helps create the camaraderie and working together as a group. I think that's very, very important. Okay, we'll just let everybody will pay for their own. I do have approximately...
Don't be saying that crap. I don't even know when I said that, sometimes I think about, like, when someone comes to my door and wants to sell me $50 worth of fruit, I wonder sometimes if it wouldn't be easier just to give me, if they're going to make $10 off that little $50, if I gave them $10, wouldn't that be easier?
Yeah.
You know, versus spoiling fruit in the garage. But, I mean,
there is like, I don't know, $350 in the basketball fund that we'll use, and then we'll have to divide that out about how much it's going to cost each person afterwards for that. I'm not real big that we do a lot of camps and those types of things. I think kids need to have some summertime, some time off so they're not so focused in on that. They need to have time to do things they want to do. So I'm not a big proponent of that. I do like Mr. McCleary has those college coaches come in here for that camp, and they did. I watched that a little bit last year. I wasn't the coach at that time. I just happened to be walking through and saw what they were doing. They did some good things, I thought. And he has them lined up to come back again next year. So that's why we want as many kids here as we can with that. Because we have to have 8, I think, to make it work or something like that. So, as far as my philosophies are concerned, all I want is for the kids to be successful. What is successful? I want them to improve. That's winning and losing takes care of itself. I don't like losing. I don't like getting beat, but that all takes care of itself. That's immaterial. One thing you're going to see from us this year, you're going to see that we're going to get up and down the floor. We're not going to be standing around. We're going to press full court. We're going to run. We're going to shoot the ball. My philosophy is shoot first, pass second. Better not put the ball on the floor unless you're planning on going someplace. And they will get yelled at if they do that. One of my biggest pet peeves: catch the ball, take one dribble, stop. You're dead in the water. You can't do anything. That's one of my biggest pet peeves, and I don't think you can break the press dribble in the basketball. And of course, that's my philosophy. So I've had success passing the basketball, getting a lot of layups. We didn't get pressed much when I was coaching before because we broke presses and got layup after layup, and they had to get out of it. Otherwise, they didn't have a chance in that. And watching our kids tonight, we scrimmaged tonight. We don't look too bad doing that. So I have a lot of, we have some good kids. I plan on playing a lot of kids. I think everybody should get plenty of playing time. We only have 16 out, so JVs are going to get a lot of playing time. Varsity's going to get a lot of playing time. Just because your son may have been on varsity last year doesn't mean he'll be there this year. It's just because it's two different, what I want to say, programs, things I want to do compared to what they were doing other years. Not that one's better than the other, but That's just the way I think our kids need to play, is play fast. They get to thinking too much and then they start throwing the ball away. We have offenses set up. Hope we don't have to use them much. I hope we go to the layups and get back and play defense. That's my hope. But we have to have them in case somebody takes that away from us. We have to be ready to slow the ball down. Practice schedules as far as holidays are concerned. We don't have a holiday tournament. My plans right now, Wednesday, Thanksgiving break, Springview has school, so we will be practicing up there. Our kids chose to go up there. It's our week here, but they want to be there at 2 o'clock when Springview gets out so that we can get practice and get done and come back. If you've noticed, my practices don't last very long, especially if your kids go home after practice. Now, if they're out screwing around, then I can't help you there. But we're usually, I think an hour and a half is long enough. If you practice longer than an hour and a half, the only person you're doing that for is yourself. Because the kids have lost focus and those types. But we go hard when we're practicing. There's no downtime. We don't slow down. The kids seem to like that a lot better. We've been going about an hour and 45 minutes here early in the first part of the year. But once we get everything in and pretty much settled, and so all we're doing is drill work, we'll be out of practice by 5:30 most nights. So that's, you plan accordingly of when your kids should be home. And I'll stay pretty close to that unless something happens and something blows up that I need to spend a lot of time on. But so far the kids have been very, very attentive and paid attention and do the things they're supposed to and have not complained once. And that's pretty enjoyable. Christmas break, we don't have, our last game is December 19th. We don't play again until January 8th. So the first week, Christmas, we're not practicing at all. We're going to practice Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday of the following week at 7:30 in the morning. And that'll be here. Jet will bring the kids over from Springview. That's kind of our practice plan. Is it required? No. I'm not going to require it, but I would request, hopefully, if anybody's around, that they do come to practice. Because then the next week when school starts, we have that whole week before we play again, and I think we can get ourselves ready and be back in where we want to be. Some of the things that I've had in the past, I've had parents put out a list of what they want out of the season. I've had kids put out of the list what they want out of the season. They don't match, I'm going to tell you that right now. Parents have different goals for their kids than the kids do, so keep that in mind. You know, the game's for the kids. They're going to make a lot of mistakes in what we do. We're going to throw the ball around. We're going to throw it away a lot, hopefully not too much. But the way we run, everybody's supposed to be in certain places, and we throw the ball, and they better be there. So you don't want to look at, okay, this guy threw the pass and didn't touch anybody. He threw the ball away. It may not be his fault. It may be somebody else's fault. I'll keep track of turnovers. So don't get on somebody if you think they're throwing the ball away a lot, because it may not be their fault. I'll determine that when I go back through the films. Caleb touched on a few things. Only having one coach. They hear my voice all the time, so they should be tuned into that. And they can hear me, I can guarantee you that. So that they can hear me when they're out on the floor. If other people are yelling things at them, you know, sometimes that confuses them. And then they don't know which way to go. Parent yelling, telling them to do one thing, and I want them to do the other. All of a sudden they're torn. Who are they going to please? Of course, they want to please their parents. And two things. One with Charlie McBride. I watched a film of his one time, and they asked him about, you know, how do you handle parents when kids don't, parents says, well, how come isn't your kid playing? How come aren't you playing more? Well, it's not that the kid's going to lie. he just don't want to displease his parents. He wants to make you happy, so it's always, well, coach has pets, or, this or that. I don't think any of you have ever heard say, I suck. You know, they're not gonna tell you that, because they don't wanna, make you unhappy with them, they wanna please you. So, you know, those things are gonna happen, from time to time if they're not getting some playing time, and if they're having a problem with that, like Kayla said, encourage them to come and talk to me. I won't sugarcoat it, I'm not that type of person, so if you don't want the answer, don't ask the question, I guess is the way it is with me. I'm pretty straightforward, and I won't beat around the bush. And the same, on that same token with the, one voice is what they need to hear. It would be no different than if, Mr. McCleary was having a math test, and all of a sudden all the parents were around the room and they're yelling at the kid how to do a problem. It's gonna confuse them, so, you know, encourage the kids, watch the whole thing, not just one individual. Watch them as a group, and I think you'll get a lot more enjoyment out of that. Another thing that somebody told me one time, you know, parents don't like coaches yelling, and it's not that I yell at an individual. Like I told the kids, listen to what I say to you, not how I say it, because my voice is low. I come across pretty grouchy once in a while, and it's not that I am. Chief knows me. He's but I get on some kids, and it sounds like I'm just really mad at them, and I'm not. And so one guy told me one time when I had racehorses, and I had a racehorse that had terrible crooked legs, and I said, man, that horse got crooked legs, and the guy told me, he says, you don't like them? I said, no. He says, then don't look at them. So, you know, that's something to, the analogy there is there. The only other thing I have, does anybody want to keep score for me? Don't all raise your hand at once. Filming wise, we have these for huddle. It takes both cameras for every game. One films the game, then another person has to take the other one, and he has to punch in there. If somebody takes a 2-point shot, put 2-point shot, made or missed. That's all they have to do. They don't have to say who did it. Turnover, they just hit turnover. Free throw, made, missed. And so when the game is over, within 10 minutes, everything is up on huddle, our team stats and everything. And then I'll have to go through the film, and it'll stop every place where they put that, and then I can put the individual stats in through that. So it's kind of, the more things we get, the more technology, it just keeps growing, and I'm getting older, and I don't handle all that very well. But, I wouldn't even know how to turn that down, it's good they put it with me. So, anybody have any questions for me? Like I said, I'm pretty simple. We're gonna run, I think you're gonna enjoy what you see. We're gonna get up and down the floor. Tonight we scrimmaged, we did half. Last year I looked at the stats and they took about 48 shots a game. Tonight we took 38 shots in a half. So that's how fast we play. And they're not bad shots, they weren't thrown out there, they were good shots. And I expect the kid, when he's open, to shoot the basketball. I don't care who it is. If I think they're shooting too much, I'll tell them. But I don't think that's gonna happen. Because I think we have to take 75 shots a game, right around that, because we're gonna shoot about 30 to 33, 35%. You add that up, that's gonna give you 40 to 50 points, plus your free throws, and I think you need that to have a chance to win. And so, our kids are doing a good job of shooting the basketball when they're open. Some of them are still passing up way too many shots, and they get yelled at for that, for passing a shot up. I want them to shoot the basketball. You can't score if you don't shoot. That's pretty simple, you know. And a lot of times, tonight even, they're in that habit of they get a rebound and they want to kick it out. Take the thing up, shoot it, get a foul, you know, and shoot the ball. Don't throw it. I don't want them throwing it up there. So I don't want them fouling shooters. You know, we have to keep kids in the game because we have some good players. We have quite a few players, but I don't want to get in foul trouble too. So We'll change our press up a little bit where hopefully they won't get in foul trouble with that and those types of things. Monday night, or a week from Monday, when we go to Ainsworth, you're not gonna see a lot. I'm gonna tell you that right now, we have 3 games that week. So we're not gonna run ourselves to death Monday night, because that game doesn't count anyway. We're probably gonna slow down and run our offenses and get that more in, rhythm and those types of things, rather than running and gunning Monday night, because Thursday and Friday are more important. So if you're expecting to see us running and pressing, you might see that 1 quarter, and that's about it.
Are you gonna have like an open gym, like Saturday, Sunday over Thanksgiving break with that game?
We haven't talked about that, but I can. You know, we'll probably talk about that Wednesday. We're gonna scrimmage again Wednesday up there. You know, if anybody wants to come and watch, you're more than welcome to. If you wanna watch that, we'll get started about 2:15 probably, scrimmaging. And we'll do about what we did tonight. We'll run a full game, different teams and those types of things. And so that, JVs, I will not play seniors on JVs. I won't play starters on JVs. I won't bring anybody that's gonna play a lot of varsity down to JVs. So the JVs, I think the JV team is for those kids, the varsity kids that maybe need a little more experience, and they'll play 2 or 3 quarters or something like that. But then those younger kids will be playing most of the JV game. Whether we will win many, I can't tell you that. We'll try, but I think it's more important that they get experience rather than beginning and things like that. Yes, we want to win. Everybody wants to win, but that isn't the important part at that point in time. Anybody else have any questions? Okay, that's all I have. Thank you much. Appreciate it.